Hey everybody, what's going on? KG here. Today we're going to go through the Samsung OLED TV lineup to help you figure out which OLED TV is going to be best for your needs. So if you decided, yeah, you want a Samsung OLED TV, but you're not quite sure which one to get, this guide is going to be for you. All right, we're going to go from cheapest to most expensive, and make sure you stick around till the end of the video where I'm going to give you some buying advice to help you figure out which one to get. So in the 2024 lineup, the first OLED TV you're going to find from Samsung is going to be the S85D. I want you guys to kind of think of this series as the entry into OLED TVs for Samsung. This is very comparable and priced similarly to the LG B series from LG. And what you're looking at here is going to be a W OLED, and that's really important to remember with the S85D. They all are going to be W OLED regardless of region and size. The S85D is going to have gaming up to 120 Hz with VRR, unlike the S95D and the S90D, which will have 144 Hz if you're looking for that for PC gaming. So keep those things in mind. Now, it does have the NQ4 AI Gen 2 processor, which is going to be the same processor that they use in the other OLED TVs in Samsung's lineup. And you're also going to get a lesser audio system here with the speakers. It's worth noting that it comes in 55-inch, 65-inch, and 77-inch in most retailers, but it does appear that the 83-inch is only sold at Best Buy as far as I can see. I could be wrong, it could be at other retailers, but right now the 83-inch just seems to be at Best Buy. It's worth noting the S85D stand is a little bit wider in its feet, and it comes with two separate feet that you plug into the back of the TV. It's really easy to install. And if you go up in size to the 77-inch and the 83-inch, the stand is going to be installed the same way, but it's going to be more centralized and also have a stand cover. This is going to be a similar stand to the S90C last year. Aside from the specs, you are getting pretty much the same features here as all the other OLEDs in the lineup, so you're really just going to get a W OLED version of the upper echelon OLEDs that we're about to talk about here in a second. So if you're okay with just a little bit less brightness and a little bit less color, then the S85D can be a really good bargain if you catch it at a good price. These are the best prices for the TV that I've seen so far. The 55-inch is going to be $999, the 65-inch is going to be $1299, the 77-inch is going to be $1599, and the 83-inch is going to be $2499. If those prices seem similar to you, that is because they are matching the LG B4 prices. So that is really good for LG and Samsung to have that competition. They do that in every category, as you will see here coming up with the S90D and the S95D. It's worth noting that Best Buy does have an exclusive model called the S84D, and from what I can see, this is very similar to the S85D, and the S85D 77-inch is not carried on BestBuy.com, but the S84D 77-inch is. And I would expect these to be the same prices. And before you ask, no, it is not a QD OLED. This is also going to be a W OLED. Speaking of whether a TV is W OLED or QD OLED, well, we got a complicated one here with the Samsung S90D. So let's start off with the concrete thing that we always know will be the case: a 42-inch, a 48-inch, and an 83-inch size from the S90D will always be a W OLED no matter what region you reside in, and that is because they do not make QD OLED panels in this size this year. So what about the 55-inch, the 65-inch, and the 77-inch sizes? Well, that is going to be very region dependent. As of right now in the US, every size in this category is going to be a QD OLED for the US region. In other regions, though, some are going to be W OLED. So how do you know which is which? Well, you're going to want to take a look at the end of the model code. And usually what I have seen is if it starts with an E, the last four letters, then it's going to be W OLED. That will be the biggest red flag. So take a look at this when you are buying your S90D just to make sure you are getting the right panel that you actually want. Now, panels aside, this is going to have up to 144 Hz VRR gaming, and you're also going to be getting the NQ4 AI Gen 2 processor, just like you will be getting with all the other OLEDs in the lineup. It comes in 42-inch, 48-inch, 55-inch, 65-inch, 77-inch, and 83-inch sizes. All of the sizes will have a pedestal stand for the actual stand of the TV, except for 42-inch, which will have wider feet that are going to be snapped on separately. And here are the prices for the S90D. The 42-inch is going to be $899, the 48-inch is going to be $1049, the 55-inch is going to be $1299, the 65-inch is going to be $1499, the 77-inch is going to be $2199, and the 83-inch is going to be $3299. You'll notice that this is a match for the LG C4 across the board in all sizes, and that's because this is the biggest competitor to the LG C4. Alright, now for the big flagship, the Samsung S95D. But before we talk about the S95D, if you guys are looking for a TV this holiday season and you want to help support the channel, please consider buying from one of my affiliate links in the description below. Thank you guys so much for your support. Now let's get back to the video. Alright, now we're looking at the Samsung S95D, and this is going to be the flagship 4K OLED TV for Samsung, and it is a beautiful one, but it is a very unique one as well. The main selling point for Samsung this year with this TV, well, marketing-wise, is going to be the OLED glare-free design. You're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. It's either going to solve all your problems or be the bane of your existence when you get it home in your house. And this is one of the ones where it's going to be hard to tell if it's going to be right for you unless you really know your environment when you are talking about buying this TV. If you are considering buying this TV, I highly suggest watching the review that I did on this and the other video that I did showing off the glare-free finish, aka a matte finish, what other people like to call it. One of the biggest difference between the S95D and the S90D is that the S95D is going to feature a One Connect box. This is going to feature all of your connections on the One Connect box, including the power cable itself, and the only thing connecting to the TV is one wire. So that's going to be different than the S90D, where all the ports are going to be on the back of the TV like a traditional TV. Okay, so now I want to talk about the biggest strength of this TV. This is going to be using Samsung Display's 3rd generation QD OLED, and my goodness, this is a beautiful TV because of it. It's some of the brightest colors that I've seen. It's one of the brightest TVs that I've seen in terms of an OLED TV, and the gaming performance of this TV is just nothing short of amazing once you have everything dialed into your liking, which does take some effort, but something that doesn't take effort is just throwing this TV into movie or filmmaker mode and watching it be such a beautiful TV out of the box. It is one of the best TVs you can buy, hands down, and you don't have to tweak anything on it. Like, that is the biggest selling point for me with this TV. Out of the box, it's just that good, and it is a significant upgrade from the S90D, in my opinion. Having those side by side, I could tell the difference. Let's get into those differences in just a second here, but first let's talk about the price. The 55-inch is going to be $1899, the 65-inch is going to be $2299, and the 77-inch is going to be $3499. It's worth noting that this is going to be the competition to the LG G4, but it is going to be $100 more in the 55-inch size. It'll be interesting to see if Samsung will match the price of the LG G4 in the 55-inch size at $1799. Okay, so which one should you buy? Well, in my opinion, if you can get one of the QD OLED TVs, that's what you should go for. Either the S90D or the S95D. I do think that QD OLED is just better than WOLED by a good margin. You're going to get brighter colors, you're going to get better brightness in general, you're going to get better screen uniformity. All around, the QD OLED technology is just better than WOLED technology. So if you can find that, that's what you're going to want to get. So looking at the S90D versus the S95D, assuming they're both QD OLEDs in this scenario, what are we going to be looking for? What separates these two TVs? They're both QD OLED in this case, so why are they different? Well, the S95D is going to be brighter and more impactful than the S90D, and it does show up on paper, and it does show up in comparison when they are side by side. I have a comparison of these two TVs, and to me, the Samsung S95D was an upgrade over the S90D, where in previous years, the S95C and the S90C, I didn't really see a huge difference there. But this year, there is a difference there, and the S95D is clearly the better TV in terms of performance. The other thing to consider is going to be that glare-free coating. Whether or not you like that or not, it's going to have to be something you have to strongly consider when you're looking at the S95D. If you don't like that coating, automatically just go for the S90D. It's still a really great TV at the end of the day. But if you don't mind that coating and you're going to probably just have it in a dark room anyway, and you have the budget for it, I strongly suggest getting the S95D. It is such an amazing TV. It is by far the best OLED TV that Samsung has made to date, and arguably one of the best OLED TVs made to date by any company. Now, if your budget is a little bit thinner and you want to go for the S85D, it still is a good OLED TV. It's just not going to be as good as a QD OLED, so just remember that if you can just spare a little bit more, QD OLED will be worth it. But if you can't, the S85D does look really good. You should compare that to the LG B4 and see which one has the best features for you at the end of the day. So the one that I think most people should probably gravitate towards though is going to be the S90D. I do think that it is going to be one of the best bang for your bucks out there. And unless you can go all the way up to the S95D, it's definitely going to be hard to beat the S90D in that case. With all that said, they are all OLED based TVs, and you can't really go wrong with any of them. So just pick the one that is going to be best for your budget, as I always suggest. If you have any questions at all regarding these TVs that we talked about today, please leave them in the comment section below. I'll be sure to answer them in a timely manner. And if you need to keep doing research, I do have comparison videos with these TVs, as well as buying guides for other TV brands, and you can check those out right here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you in the next one.